Hi, I'm Rochelle. I'm going to try to keep this under 7 minutes and be clear and concise. The first question I would like to address is question number 7. And it says, in the movie, we hear the quote, "We are the products of the history our ancestors chose if we're white. If we're black, we're the product of the history that our ancestors most likely did not choose." How different do you think America would look if black people would have been allowed to choose their own destinies and not be the victims of policies and systems that support mass incarceration? Just like speaking on when you are looking at society from a class level, I think that if that were true, then we would see more united family units. We would not see so many broken homes and kids who have to look outside the home in order to meet basic needs. That looks like to me people and families and Black people being able to self-develop and choose to develop their innate desires and talents. I think that we would have a lot more gosh, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think that it would be just a much more harmonious life. We have a lot of broken, angry, hurt, scared people walking around, and nothing good really comes from that. I think that there's like this saying that there's two basic emotions, and one is fear, and a lot of other things arise from fear, none of which are positive. So when you have a group of people who are used to living in fear, nothing positive is going to come from that. So by default, if we didn't have that fear-based people living based off of fear, I think that we would have a lot more positive things in society and experiences for everyone. Unfortunately, I don't think that that would get rid of mass incarceration. I think that we naturally assemble into groups and we naturally find power in differences. So I think that mass incarceration would probably always be there based on whatever difference that was being highlighted in that time in history. Number 4. The movie discusses how the prison industrial complex uses free labor of incarcerated people to fuel the production of goods for major companies and private industries like McDonald's, Boeing, Microsoft, Anderson Flooring, and even Idaho Potatoes, much like the sweatshops that we denounce overseas for exploiting free labor. What role does capitalism/consumerism play in mass incarceration, and what, if anything, you think we can do as consumers to potentially impact change and help end incarceration? Well, I think that our economic system of capitalism/consumerism directly participates and enables it. I know this through, we're studying the class system in 207, and we learned a little bit about the wealth gap and how that started and how it's been perpetuated through history, where the same 1% have the most wealth and continue to gain it at an increasing speed. And it's through policies and legislation through lots of different companies that enable this to happen. So it doesn't surprise me. These top 1%, they gain control and power through money donations. Who they donate to charity donations, through campaign donations, and all these other people who are benefiting from this top 1%, people like McDonald's, Boeing, Microsoft, they want the money to keep coming. So they will make these people happy, including making it possible or making deals with private correctional institutions to have their prisoners give free labor. So as long as somebody's benefiting, that's always going to happen. And as long as there's someone to buy those services, those goods and or services, it's always going to be that way. The prison system is a for-profit, much like the education system. Whenever there is someone to profit from something, they are never going to be looking out for the quote undeserving, or the people or group with the least amount of power. They're always going to look out for themselves first. So these big companies can get free labor from the mass incarceration, so their profit margin increases. And because their profit margin increases, they can offer a lower price. And because they can offer a lower price for a similar quality good or services, then more people are going to buy it from them. So it's just kind of self-perpetuating. The only way that I feel like we can make a difference is if consumers ourselves can make a difference, is if we do our due diligence and choose who we do business with based on ethical standards or ethical practices, whatever you believe to be aligned with your beliefs. It takes time. It comes at a price, because most often these companies who are more who practice or buy more ethically sourced products, they cost more money. And so it's kind of like a cost to benefit ratio. Are you willing to pay a little bit more and not support these top 1% companies, and have the freedom and knowing that you are not participating in this exploitation of people? Or you're not going to. And sometimes it's not, people don't always have a choice. Sometimes they have to buy the cheapest one, and that just so happens to be this, but that's what our economic system counts on. So what I can do and what you can do is, when we are able, to be intentional about the companies we do business with.